Bartholomew Town.
Okay, welcome into Bartholomew Town. I'm Bill Bartholomew. Remember, you can hear every episode of the podcast on Apple, Spotify, now on YouTube, ripodcast.com, and weekends on WPRO Radio. And as we do each and every month with Navigant Credit Union, we discuss your financial well-being. Today, we talk about expanding that out to the well-being of our community and an initiative called Season of Giving. It's something that Navigant has been delivering to Rhode Island communities for a very long time. And right now it is active on Navigant's website, the opportunity for you to make a donation. And we're going to talk about what Season of Giving is all about with the one and only Tim Draper. Tim, if you want to introduce yourself for those that aren't familiar with you.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? It's been a long time.
It has.
Great to see you.
Great to be in connection again here on the podcast.
Absolutely. My name is Tim Draper. I'm the Senior Vice President of the Navigant Credit Union Charitable Foundation. Formerly, I was in charge of the marketing team over on the credit union side of the house, but we, beginning of this year, we decided to make our foundation a little more impactful in its work and a little more of a sort of a center of influence in certain areas. And so we took my old role and distributed that to some other folks and put me solely in charge of the foundation and to try to build some momentum behind our additional giving efforts.
And from the standpoint of launching the Season of Giving campaign on a broad basis, what was the inspiration behind this?
So one of the things that we did way back when was we had these, when we get to Christmas time, we always wanted to find a way to sort of make people smile whenever we could. And we have a billboard that we've had on Route 146 heading south into Providence now for a gazillion years. And every holiday season, right after Thanksgiving, we would put up a single word to reflect whatever kind of was going on in our minds here at the credit union, what we felt was in the community's, best interest. So, words like gratitude and kindness and joy, just to kind of give people sort of an inspiration as they drove down. And I can't tell you how many people would call us and tell us how they appreciated that sentiment going into work. It wasn't an advertisement. It didn't say Navigant Credit Union. I might have said it just as who put it up there. But ultimately, it was just simply one word. And this year, we decided to take that concept because we've kind of gone through a lot of the really good words. And how do we make that actionable? What can we do that not only reflects the time of the year, but also will have some impact, will drive some impact in the community? So Season of Giving was born in the summertime when we were talking about this whole concept. And it really is all about, this is the time of the year that it feels better to, in my mind anyway, it feels better to give somebody something, whether it be a smile, a gift, anything that shows that you appreciate someone or something. So Season of Giving is really all about the opportunity to try to show somebody that you care. And so this is how we sort of evolved from the one word to the Season of Giving.
Yeah, and I completely agree. There's so many different ways that you can show somebody that you care. No question about that. On the ground level here, there's significant efforts from a fundraising standpoint. But how does this campaign reflect the broader mission of, from a Navigant standpoint, from your personal standpoint of just giving back to the communities you serve? Because I think a lot of firms put that out there, and sometimes they meet that statement with their actions. But this is something that Navigant has done, albeit oftentimes quietly behind the scenes. But this is a very forward-facing representation of what I would say is your broader mission of giving back. Talk about that a little bit, if you could.
Yeah, so, we've been around for 110 years. It's a long time. Started off from the credit union standpoint, really started off just serving a small community of immigrant mill workers. And over the years, it's evolved into something more than that, obviously. But, from that very early time, it was really about trying to help people, right? People helping people. That's the credit union motto. So it was our way of how do we do that? Well, yeah, we do that with financial services and all those other great things. But we as an organization, as we became more successful, it really is a responsibility of a corporation, of a company, in our case, a nonprofit, to really help serve members of the community as best as we can. And in our case, we share some of the, some of the profits that we do make. Even though we're a nonprofit, we still earn money. I mean, you really have to do that. But we take portions of that money, give it back to the membership in the form of rates and things like that. But we also put it into these activities that give directly into the community, right? The people that make us successful are the people who are our members. We don't have stockholders, so I'm not worried about investors. I'm not worried about paying a dividend. What I am worried about is making sure that that people in the communities where we have branches, the state of Rhode Island, for example, that they have as good a chance at having a good quality of life as we can help them. Can't solve all the problems of the world, but when we can, we try to do that. Now we created the Navigant Credit and Charitable Foundation to enhance the giving work that the credit union has done over the years. Credit union is up to about $1.2 million a year that they give back to the community, direct, sponsoring little league teams, doing the golf tournament sponsorship deal, helping organizations, execute on their missions. But we wanted to try to be a little more impactful and secure that effort over time. Now, the credit union, of course, it depends on how successful they are, whether they can, how much they can give every year. Our foundation has a pool of money that the credit union has created that allows us to give away about $500,000 a year just on the interest that we've earned on this fund. That's their forward-thinking look at how to endow this whole process. And it's my job now in this sort of this new world to raise additional funds on the public side of the house and try to take that $500,000 in giving and make it $1 million a year. That's my goal. That's my foundation goal, is to give away $1 million a year from the foundation. That's partly the fund, but it's also new initiatives that we're going to do. And this season of giving is really the first initiative that we've launched in this new world to try to raise money. What we're doing is, the old method of me granting folks, nonprofits, funds is twice a year. We have a round of applications that come in. We score them. We run them through our pillars of impact to make sure that they align with our mission. We find the ones that are doing the good work, and they're all doing good work. Don't get me wrong, but there are some that have a little more impact than others, and so we try to make sure that those folks are well funded. This opportunity for us is really our going out and identifying an organization that we think is doing really, really, really good work, and partnering with them for a specific fundraising activity. And this whole Feed RI campaign, this whole season of giving campaign, is going to fund Feed RI, which is a little more than a food bank. And I can explain that to you if you'd like in a little bit more detail.
Please.
But it is really it's an amazing organization that is what they would consider themselves a food rescue. So they're not just taking donations of canned goods and things like that. They're going out to markets, to restaurants who have food stock that is not quite expired. It's on the verge of it, but the supermarkets and the bodegas and things that they can't sell it on a retail basis. So Feed RI will send their trucks to these places and take those items and bring them back to their food market, which is what they have on premise in East Providence. Great place. If you haven't been there, you should go. It's kind of interesting to see. But what they do is they take these items, they put them on the shelves, and there's really three things that they do. They do a food market, which is, again, shelves in their warehouse. People come, line up on a daily basis to shop. They do school pantries, which is what we're funding in our season of giving, and we can talk about that in a second. And then they do library pantries. So they're identifying places in the community where they need to have these hubs for people to get food beyond just going to a food pantry. And a lot of food pantries will give you a bag of all the things that they think you need, right? And so you take the bag and you go on your merry way. But if I have a peanut allergy and I have a jar of peanut butter in this bag, that's not doing me any good, right? I'm either going to throw it out, or if I'm lucky, I'll give it to somebody else. What the marketplace does at Feed RI and the food pantries in the schools they allow people to come in and shop. And it's not necessarily a handout. It is, they will ask people to pay what they can afford to pay. So, it might cost you 50 cents. If you liked peanut butter, the peanut butter might cost you $1. You go in your grocery shop. And that's a level of dignity that people should have in their lives, right? I don't want to just be handed something, but if I'm allowed to shop for it, awesome. So Feed RI does that in their main marketplace in each province. But they also have these food pantries in, I think, 17 schools around the state. From Woonsocket, I think there's some in Providence, there's in Central Falls, where the kids who are about to go into a weekend where they're not going to get food and know that their situation is a challenge, can discreetly go into these food pantries and grab some items off the shelves to bring home for the weekend, right? So that's the program that this season of giving is funding specifically. But the Feed RI program, a Feed RI organization, really is a pretty amazing organization. That's why we selected them for this campaign.
Yeah, no doubt. And also as timely as could be, given the situation in the country right now. And just in general, food insecurity is such a massive issue that there's never a bad time to address it.
Right. 2 out of 5, I think, are food insecure. The last statistic that I looked at. And you don't have to look any farther. You have to read anything other than just hear what's going on with SNAP, right? That highlights how tough things really are out there.
Right. It's a leading indicator, not just the root of the problem. I think that's the big thing right there. The Navigant Credit Union Charitable Foundation is playing a huge role in this campaign. Talk about that and kind of how you've evolved in your role to head up the Navigant Credit Union Charitable Foundation.
Love to. So we're fortunate that the credit union, that I have the credit union's resources at my beck and call. I still actually work for the credit union, but the credit union gives my services to the foundation so that every dollar that we raise at the foundation is going to go back out into the community in some way, shape, or form. So that's really what the credit union wanted to do. So the credit union's gift to the foundation every year is me. I use my time to vet out these organizations, to run the grant application process, which we're in right now. And it's been really kind of a labor of love. It's also been very eye-opening. There's a lot of nonprofits in Rhode Island. Right now, we're reviewing 107 applications for grant funding for $2.5 million. That's a lot of requests out there. And they span the spectrum of what people are looking for within education and financial education, public health, safety, and welfare, and social services. So we kind of try to look at all these requests through those lenses. But still, just through those 3 narrow silos, there's still a lot of need out there, and it's been quite interesting to look at the organizations, look at the overlap in some cases that organizations have. But it's good. It's good information to have in my back pocket. So the credit union has created the foundation. I sort of run that foundation from my end. And I feel like we're doing more work than what we could have on the credit union side of the house. Mm-hmm. Our grants tend to be anything from $10,000 and above to an organization. That's impactful, certainly on some of the smaller organizations that are out there. But if they have a program that we think is going to be really, I like sustainability. That's just personally, I like the sustainability component. So when somebody brings to me a grant that says, if I'm looking at a grant that says I'm going to stock the shelves or I'm going to build the shelves to put the food on, I know that people are going to give an organization food or money to help fund them. But they may not have space or the infrastructure to accept it in a way that helps them distribute that food in an economical and simple manner. So I like the sustainability components of all the grants, STEAM grants, STEM grants. Those are a lot of requests that we have right now. If I could buy somebody the robotics kits that several generations of students are going to use or several evolutions of students will use, I like that. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we're not going to buy food for an organization. Like right now, we're really trying to help out with stocking the shelves whenever we can. And so even this particular program, Season of Giving, is really all about supporting those school-based initiatives. So
Right.
it really is stocking the shelves in a lot of ways. But we like the model that Feed Our Eye has already, that has those infrastructure items in place, makes it easier to stock the shelves.
Right. That selection process, while there's a lot of opportunities out there in sort of both directions in charitable work, you've kind of zeroed in on that which is most effective from your lens, so to speak, and highlight those. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is. And the great thing about the program is that, let me explain how it works for your listeners. You can either make a straight donation to Feed Our Eye, and people will say, well, why wouldn't I just make it to Feed Our Eye? Well, because every donation that's made through the foundation is going to get doubled. So the credit union is going to match whatever we get on the foundation side up to $15,000. So if the foundation can get $15,000 in donations for Feed Our Eye, the credit union gives another 15. So Feed Our Eye gets 30. So that's pretty impactful during this time of the year for them. So that's my argument to why somebody would want to donate it through the credit union, because there's a match component to it.
Right.
They can do that either online at our website, navigantcu.org. Pretty simple. There's a link right on the homepage, takes you to the page where it explains a little bit about the program, and then they can make a donation. The fun part of this is what we're doing in the branches. So our members that are coming in, we're going to sell them a little spoon that they can write a little message on, and they can buy it for $1, $5, $10, whatever they feel comfortable with. They can buy 10 of them, 100 of them, whatever they want, and then write the little message on it, and we're going to put it on the wall. And from the branches perspective, there's a little competition to see who can fill the wall with spoons. So I think that'll be fun for the branch network. So if you're a Navigant member and you're going to go into a branch and you want to throw a buck or two at the program, help your local branch win our own little internal contest here. So it's a fun little way to do it. So that's how the program works. Really simple for us. Again, do an online donation right from the webpage. Come to a branch, buy some spoons, see if you can get your branch to be the champion seller or the champion spooner. And it'll be a lot of fun. And in the end, at the end of December, when the program is over, from now until the end of December, the real winner are the people around that benefit from the Feed Our Eye organization.
No doubt. So with that in mind, what's your message to members or members of the community who are hearing this right now in terms of getting, you've kind of already made a great pitch, but to kind of triple down on it, what's your message?
Right. My message is think about the people that that you may not know their situation. If you are fortunate enough in life that you are in a position that you can help, every dollar matters. That's why the spoons are $1. You don't have to come in and give us $20. I mean, I think the website has some suggested levels on it, but you don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. I told my team here at the credit union, when we were talking a little bit about how the foundation is going to work in this new world of ours, we have 168,000 members. If every member gave us $1, right, that would be $168,000 that we could put back out into the community. And some people, look at it as, gee, well, if everybody gave us $1 every month, that's $2 million that we could put back out into the community. And, some people would say, well, why would I give to you versus just, again, going to the organization? Well, if you've got an organization that you choose to support, God bless you, go at it. You should support them. But a lot of people who want to be philanthropic, who want to be giving, don't know who the players are in the nonprofit world space that are doing the good work, that can manage the money that comes in, that can get it into the hands of the people who need it, and not just the salaries of the people who run the organization, right?
That's right.
So we're trying to find the organizations that really are putting that money to work. So if you want to make sure that your money is going to the right place, then I encourage you to contribute to the Navigant Credit Union Charitable Foundation, because I can promise you that is exactly how we work. We find those organizations to do good work.
Lastly, the website, the link that people should use if they themselves want to make a donation right now and they're hearing this, what's that website?
So you can go to the Navigant, listen to me. You can go to navigantcu.org, Navigant, Navigant, cu.org. Right on there's an ad, there's a scrolling banner that says Feed Our Eye, Season of Giving. Or you could go to the community page at the top and visit our foundation website page, where you'll learn a little bit more about our foundation's work. and see our impact report. So it's really very, very simple. Or again, just come to the branch when you're doing your normal transaction, your normal, whatever routine you have. You can support the program that way.
NavigantCU.org. Tim Draper. Hey, season of giving. It's on. Let's make it happen, people.
It's on, baby. Let's make it go.
Bartholomew Town is brought to you by Navigant Credit Union, Half Street Group, the University of Rhode Island Online, and Newport Film.